Wendell Simlin. Is that what his name? The identity of a woman that he stole. Or Shore knows him better. Shore? Who was Wendell Simlin?
I met the mother. I interviewed her. I put it out. That's the evidence. And the woman said, yes, Reno Mockery is an identity thief. When Reno Mockery sent soldiers to the mother's house to eject somebody from their house in Warri or so, I got the information, I put it out to the Sahara report. I said, in fact, it led to him being fired by Jonathan. Because most people did not know that Reno Mockery did not complete his tenure with Jonathan. Jonathan fired him towards the election because of a lot of criminal activities he was engaging in. Reno Mockery claims to be an Amazon bestseller. Can you just find out how many books he's selling? What's the name of the book? So I'm not personalizing it. I'm just telling you that I am an evidence-based person. If he says, so look, there's no need engaging in emotional conversations. But you know, all the political leaders in this country have their own supporters. Even if you look today, there are people who still support Abacha.
So like I said, I'm a storyteller. So if you have time, just sit back and be following it step by step, because we are going somewhere with this. So who are those around Jonathan as governor? The likes of Doyin Okuigbe, the likes of Reno Mockery, Wendell Simlin, who rather engage in falsehood or an attempt to deviate conversation or outright a falsehood. This was their stock in trade. Unfortunately, it was around the time that the social media influence was sort of growing. So it's easier for people to easily get deceived. So APC, Ebekebe, used that to the fullest. Okay? So Jonathan stood no chance. He was totally hated. And it worked for them. So at the end of the day, the Chibok girls, which was first of its kind in Nigeria, mass kidnapping of children, APC, Ebekebe, started it. And they leveraged on it so well. Kidnapping of school children, all for power. So they got the power, eventually. Ebere Jonathan was bullied out of Aso Rock. And the likes of Elrufai became governor in the process. Bokwari became president, right? Shittiman became a senator. They were all compensated, they all rewarded. Amazing, like good stuff. And it was time for them to now prove what they claimed. They could do better. Suddenly, they introduced Fulani terrorists into the fray. And he, as a governor in Kaduna, the people of Southern Kaduna, majorly Christians, right? They came under an organized ethnic cleansing, mass killings from the Fulani terrorists. After Elrufai said he went all over West Africa to tell them that their brother is now in power, they can come back.
Check the records between August 2015, when we received the Agwai Committee and began the outreach, until May, June 2016, there was not one incident of any such killing in Southern Kaduna. So we felt that we were succeeding. We felt that we had got the transhumans out of the equation and can now focus on resolving the issues between local herdsmen and farmers, which is still an issue. Okay? But and yes, we offered them money. We said, look, if we have to pay you not to kill our people, we're happy to do it.
Is that the only solution that you're adopting, to pay them to stop the killing?
That is the only solution we can see. If anyone has a better solution, you should give us. If you have somebody in Guinea that you cannot prove is responsible for this, but you say, look, we apologize, this has happened.
But
it didn't happen in my time. Okay, I'm the governor now, this has happened. We apologize that you are caught up in our domestic issues. Have you lost cattle? We can pay. Have you lost lives? We can pay compensation. Compensation for lives and property has foundations even in the Quran and the Bible. Okay, so I don't understand why people would say, but what I said and what we tried to do was twisted, okay, by one newspaper largely, to say that I am paying herdsmen to kill. What we were trying to do was offering money to them to say, don't kill our people. And frankly, as the governor of the state, the life of every citizen of that state and his property is on my head. I will stand before God and be asked, what did you do to ensure that that person is not killed or his property destroyed? Okay. I am prepared to offer you money if you feel that you're offended and you are going to collect people to come and kill people. I'm prepared to offer you money not to do it. I have no apologies for that. But to twist that to say that, oh, Elrufai is now paying herdsmen to kill, I think is most irresponsible. Now, in my opinion, and when you look at the history,
again, what they condemned Jonathan for got worse under Bokwari, specifically under this criminal, this little finger, the vile little man. That's what some people call him, a vile little man. He is so evil that the Fulani terrorism in southern Kaduna is so organized that they call it a jihad. They will kill people in their communities, send them to IDP camps. They will now take over the community. Elrufai, they will rename the communities. And this, you know, they commit this crime and they stay at the crime scene. Elrufai said people were exaggerating it, that in fact, the Christians in southern Kaduna, that because of donation that the world was given to them, they did not want the crisis to end. He blamed them. They were burning churches. They were kidnapping Christian children. They are not kidnapping Muslim kids, so Christian children. Chibok is a Christian community. So they will kidnap them and then force them to convert to Islam. And these terrorists were protected. You see what he said about, we went about to beg them, somebody from Guinea. Guinea. Why should any Nigerian governor go to Guinea to appeal to Fulani that if you lost your cow in Kaduna, come back. Your brother is governor now. We will pay you. We will compensate you. We are sorry that you are caught up in our local fight. What do you mean local fight? People resisted terrorists. They fought them off. But because they didn't have the government backing, they couldn't fight the locals. They were sent away from their lands. How dare you go about? He went everywhere up to the Central African Republic to go and bring back these terrorists, well armed. He said it. He said, we told them to come back. We are sorry. We are sorry that you are caught up in our local crisis. You know? And that is why Reno Mockery was saying, since Elrufai, it was so bad, though. It was so bad that Kaduna, where you have more Christians than Muslims, Elrufai and his gang, he dared them. He told them that Kaduna is an Islamic place where they have Sharia. Kaduna is an Islamic state. And therefore, they can have Muslim tickets in Kaduna, because what they used to do was that if the governor, if the governorship candidate is a Christian, his or a deputy will be Muslim. The governor is Muslim, his deputy will be Christian. That's how they have been mixing it. That same Kaduna that they are now making it look like it's a caliphate. there are more Christians in Kaduna than Muslims, so by population, no. And this is a fact. But the likes of Elrufai were bent in changing that. You know, to them, that can't be. That's impossible. How could anybody say that? Ask people who grew up in Kaduna in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, even in the early 2000s. They'll tell you. So to him, it won't be a bad idea to slaughter as many people as possible. It was like, you know, and that's why Reno Mockery said, since he left, have you heard about killings in southern Kaduna again? Well, the answer is no. But there was no single day that we were not receiving report of killings in southern Kaduna, kidnapping of, bishop, kidnapping of, this reverend father, that reverend father, or school children and all that. I'm talking about schools where those who are being mostly kidnapped, So Elrufai was so evil. He's like an evil personified. He even killed the paramount ruler of Adara Kingdom. Also, Elrufai was so cold-hearted that for 8 years, his government was budgeting, right? You say, people will tell you that he did so well in Kaduna, but go and ask the Kaduna people, they will tell you, well, maybe in northern Kaduna, where they did this, what do you call it, Shagbeloju all these shining projects who are mostly like exaggerated as well, using the media. But go to southern Kaduna, southern Kaduna senatorial district, go there, and you'll think, man, God damn it, man. Is this part of Kaduna as well? True story. A dear them in 2019, I was going to run a Muslim ticket. And the Christians are inconsequential. In fact, it was him that advised Tinubu that if Tinubu wanted enough to support him, he would need to pick a Muslim. A Muslim ticket must be pushed in Nigeria. And this is why you have Tinubu and Shittiman today. But we will get to that part. So Elrufai, an evil personified, also never really liked Tinubu. To the point that there was a time he went to Lagos, and Ambode was governor then in 2018, 2017 or thereabout, right? And he bragged, just like this.
We're in the same party, we get along very well, as far as I know.
Do you want him retired? He's the godfather of Lagos.
I don't know if he's the godfather of Lagos. It's up to him to say that. What I know for sure is that we have retired godfathers in Kaduna. And I have told those that asked me the question that there are 6 million registered voters in Lagos and only 1 million voted in the last election. So there are 5 million people that you can bring into the electoral playground, and you can defeat anyone if you work hard. But it's hard work, it's 4 years. That's what I said. Now, if anyone feels offended by that, that's his business or her business.
So you want Lagos to follow your template for retirement of government?
I have no recommendations to Lagos. Okay, I am the governor of Kaduna State. I know Kaduna politics pretty well, and I play my role in my party towards the overall success of the party. I have no recommendations for anyone. I'm just saying that if I'm asked a question and I give an answer, anyone that feels offended by the answer, this is all business. I have no apologies. I don't apologize for my views. My views are thought out and I put them there, and I don't have to explain anything to anyone. This is a democracy. In a democratic space, there must be room for people to express their views. You can disagree, you can abuse me if you don't like my views, but that's it.
So he went to Lagos and they said, how is he getting along with Tinubu? As a member of the same party, being the godfather of Lagos. And he said that. But somehow, whatever they plotted, in fact, this is now, it doesn't really matter anymore, okay? But this is what we heard at the time. As part of those who were plotting within the Bokuwari's government, this same Elrufai was the one that advised Bokuwari to accept the change of money, the change of Naira that Emefiole embarked on that time. That to stop Tinubu, that Tinubu has stockpiled billions of Naira that was going to use to buy the election in 2023. That the best thing to do is to change the Naira. Force them to bring out the money, or just destroy it so that it will become useless. The intention at the time was to push, this may sound really ridiculous, right? But it is kind of like credible. The plan was to push that rubber stamp one, first option. Second option, Yeye Bello of Kogi. So they were going to push these two, okay, to become the APC presidential candidate. Either of them. As much as it wasn't really going to fly, but they felt so powerful that they could do it prior to 2022. If you remember this, Tinubu was used and dumped by the same Bokuwari after 2015. That Tinubu had to leave Nigeria. How many of you remember that they started investigating Alpha, Beta, and Tinubu under Bokuwari? That Tinubu had to run away from Nigeria for 2.5 years until 2018, when they felt like everything was like no longer holding together. So they brought Tinubu back with the promise that he could have whatever he wants or wanted. And the only person they sacrificed at the time, well, maybe not the only person, but the first person they sacrificed for Tinubu then was Oyegun. Oyegun just won a new, like a new validation of election as their chairman, but he had to go. That was how Oshiomole became the APC, Ebekebe's national chairman. He was selected by Tinubu as part of the agreement that they will give him the party if they wanted him to work for Bokuwari's second term. And they called Tinubu reconciliator of APC. I don't know if you remember all of this, but that is not inconsequential, okay? It is actually very consequential to what to where we are today, or where they are today, rather. So Tinubu got a hold of the party, but that was the only thing. That was not the only thing he got a hold of. He was able to get a hold of some of the agencies that were working for Bokuwari, including the EFCC, to the point that they had to also sacrifice Maguluta Kruku. You remember him, Magu, the EFCC criminal that you don't hear from him anymore, right? It was also somehow got bought over by Tinubu, that he botched the investigation that Malamu told him to do about Tinubu, because the effort is to see how they can stop Tinubu from getting the ticket of APC. It was so coordinated, and this Elrufai was part of the whole plan. It was totally part of the whole plan. And I think Tinubu knew as well. Maguluta Crook was called to the villa, and he was locked in the villa's prison in Abuja for more than 6 months before they gave it to that other guy that they also kind of like arrested as well. But before then, Tinubu seems to have like already built a ring around them. So all these were ongoing until, surprise, surprise, Elrufai, Patawale, or Elrufai of Kaduna, Patawale of Zamfara, Yeye Bello of Kogi, and maybe one or two others. They told Bokwari to change the money in order to further weaken Tinubu from buying election. Boom. They just made this 360-degree U-turn. They sued Bokwari that he can't change money. The deadline of changing money is wrong. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, they took Bokwari to Supreme Court, including the Central Bank of Nigeria. Meanwhile, they were those behind it. In a public show of support to Tinubu. Suddenly, they're just like on the side of Tinubu. And that was why Tinubu drafted him and others into his campaign so as to say, I have forgiven all of you. Because what Tinubu did was to give 100 million naira to 23 people to go and buy presidential form of APC. That's why you had about 30 or 31 people who bought APC form for president. Tinubu alone bought 24 of those forms. 100 million naira. So it was like a change of heart. And they started supporting Tinubu, in case if you have forgotten.
Is confused. No, it does not. First, let me say that this is a policy of the PDP. Emefiele was appointed central bank governor by the PDP originally. So let's not forget where he came from. And he's the one that put this policy together to help the PDP win the 2023 general elections and deceive the president into thinking that it is possible to withdraw 2 trillion naira from circulation and reprint everything in 3 months. No country in world history has done it. He deceived the president. He gave the president wrong information. And the Attorney General, unfortunately, we have to claim that one is from our party, supported this policy. And we know why. Go and look at the antecedent. These are people that wanted to run for president or governor in our party and didn't make it. This is their revenge plan. But the Supreme Court justices today have shown that this is a policy against the people of Nigeria and is invalid. So let's not go back to what has happened last week. The election is over. Our candidate has won in spite of the obstacles. But for us, what is important is that ordinary Nigerians, traders, farmers, and businessmen can now move on with their lives. Go to your bank and collect all your money today. You have the right to do so by the order of the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
How optimistic are you that the federal government will obey this directive by the court?
Whether the federal government obeys the order or not is up to the federal government. But I know President Muhammad Buhari very well. Part of the reason why I convinced my colleagues to go to the Supreme Court is because we are among the closest governors to the president. And we wanted to show him, if those closest to you disagree with you so publicly on a matter of policy, you need to reflect on it. Okay? President Muhammad Buhari is a man that obeys the law. He may have been misguided by his advisors, but now that the Supreme Court has spoken unequivocally, I am confident that all the orders will be complied with.
I mean, what is the change of hearts all about? The Kaduna delegates voted for Rotimi Amechi. I don't know if some of you remember that Amechi came second. Amechi scored over 200, was it over 200 or 300 delegate votes? So where is that change of hearts came from? Some people may think Tinubu was a brilliant, genius politician that renegotiated. No. Something went down that even Tinubu knew, and he was only waiting for the time to deal with Elrufai. Here you get. They were the brain behind it. They were the ones who advised Bokwari. They were the ones who sent Emefiole, Malamu. They are all closer to Bokwari. They agreed to do this in order to stop Tinubu. They said the security report on Tinubu is that they cannot